Hello, I'm Lee from the blog thelittlebylittlehome.com, and today I'm going to walk you through the process of making over our kitchen. When we moved into our home a little over 2 years ago, really the first goal was just to get the kitchen clean and sanitized enough to be able to use it. It had been many years, I believe, since it had been given a really good deep cleaning, so that was a priority, got that done. We cook all of our meals at home, so I really needed a kitchen that was clean and that I felt comfortable cooking and preparing meals for my family in. So once that was done, we just kind of tried to settle in and get organized in the rest of our rooms. Pretty soon after that, we discovered that we needed a new refrigerator though. We were trying to live with the one that was here. It was really super ugly, but trying to save the budget, we just figured we would use what we had for as long as we could. Turns out that the seal on the refrigerator was broken and our food was not able to stay cold. So we had to then purchase a new refrigerator. We decided just to get one that we use quite well and would work well for our family and be big enough for our family. The square footage of our kitchen is actually quite large, and we didn't have the budget to completely redo anything, which is absolutely fine. There was, however, one space next to the oven that was empty. There was no cabinet or anything right there. And so we used James used some cabinets that he took down from our homeschool nook, reconfigured them back to back from each other and installed it. Now, I'll show you a little bit that I actually ended up painting our cabinets, but before I painted it, it kind of looked a little bit off, but it worked well for our family. I didn't really care because I was able then to have him put in a garbage can that pulls out. In our previous kitchens, I always had a garbage just off to the side and it would get in the way, it was ugly, it just didn't quite work well. So this has actually been really nice to be able to hide the garbage and not have to see it all the time. About 5 months after we moved in, I decided to do something about the upper cabinets. Up until that point, I was actually really frustrated because they sit in an L shape right here. I was constantly losing things in the back. I couldn't reach anything on the second shelf very well, and they just felt really large and like it just kind of hung over. I'm not quite sure whether it was the height or the depth of them. Something just wasn't quite working, and I began to think, what can I do that would be a little bit different? I decided to check out my old kitchen Pinterest board and to see what maybe had been floating through my mind through the years. There's one thing that I noticed about most of them is that they had open shelving and some type of wood tone and some type of warmth. And I thought, wow, I wonder if I could do that here. Guess what? I did. It was actually really quite easy to remove the upper cabinets. They came down really quite easy. The thing is, it turns out they were only held up by a couple of screws, probably a ton of grease, and maybe a layer or two of paint. So during our homeschool winter break, a few months after we had moved in, took those down and ended up repainting the entire kitchen at that time. James then put up these kitchen open shelves, and it has been such an answer to like all of the issues that I was having with losing everything. It's been really easy to keep things organized. We have, as you can see, all of our dishes and our plates and our bowls, the things that we use every day. We can easily take them down. Anybody can reach them and use them. I have spices and just all kinds of different ingredients that I use commonly most every day, and they're easily accessible. I can grab them, use them, and put them back up on the shelf. Soon after that, we decided that we were sick and tired of washing dishes. You see, when we moved in, there was no dishwasher, and we decided just to make do. We'd say, well, let's see how it'll go, and we'll try it for as long as possible. James and I were so tired of washing dishes. As I mentioned earlier, we eat all of our meals at home. We had our kids pitch in and try and help and stuff, but some of them were not so good at cleaning dishes, and I was rewashing them. So maybe that was like a parenting fail. I should have taught them better how to wash dishes. But we ended up saving up some money and adding a dishwasher. He actually installed it, so all we had to do was to purchase the actual dishwasher, and then he installed it and was able to do all the plumbing and the electrical and get that all up and running for us. It's been really nice to have the dishwasher. Ever since then, we fill it up every single day, and that's just been a good solution for our family. After that, it was time then to paint our lower cabinets. They were in fine condition to continue using, and again, the budget wasn't there to replace them, and there really wasn't a need to add that. They had been thoroughly good and cleaned, so just painting them was to give them a whole new look. James took the kids away for a weekend, and I spent that weekend, I think I might have slept only a few hours, painting our kitchen cabinets. This process I actually have in a step-by-step blog post. I will link that in the description below. This is the third kitchen that I've used this process on, and it works really well. Really the key is to use the right paint to allow it enough time to cure and just to follow the steps step by step. So it completely transformed the look of the kitchen. And we've had neighbors over since we moved in that had been in the home before we lived here, and they said they didn't even recognize the kitchen. I'm gonna take that as maybe a compliment. I mean, it was fine before, but they just couldn't believe that we had done all these changes. And even though the changes look like a lot, budget-wise, it really wasn't. When you DIY and do things on your own, the shelving are just boards that we purchased, and I stained them, and separate brackets that James hung up. Each of these steps can be done on a budget, and again, I have all of these different processes in blog posts, and I'll list them in the description below so you can check those out. The last change to our kitchen was an oven, and that was about a year ago or so. James surprised me with a new kitchen oven. We had just been using what was here, and it was fine. The inside of it worked quite well, even though the handle was broken. But one day he said to me, "Hey, I've got a surprise coming for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so a delivery truck showed up, and he surprised me with the oven that actually matches our refrigerator and our dishwasher. He said he was worried that they would change the styles and that we wouldn't end up with one that looked similar, that would look a lot different. So that was a fun surprise one day to get a brand new oven. So with all that we have done, is there anything left to do? Yes, there's actually 2 things that I would like to still do, and that is the countertops and the sink. Now the countertops, they aren't anything, it's nothing hideous. They're not really bad to look at. It's fine. I really do appreciate that they are a neutral kind of warm look color to it, so it's not hard to work with it with the different changes that we have made here. The sink is absolutely fine also. So again, we're not in a huge rush to do this. It would be more so just aesthetic. So we're just kind of waiting for the time and the budget to come together, and we will replace both of those things at the same exact time, because it's much easier to replace a sink and a countertop at the same time, or at least wait to do the sink until the countertop is done first. But I think it would I'm planning on just doing it all at the same time. I don't know what James's plan is. And also the other thing is I haven't quite decided what I want to do as far as the countertops. I do have an idea, but I haven't quite settled on something, so a decision hasn't been made on that. And then the sink as well, I'm not quite sure what exact look I want to go for. So that's the couple of things that is holding us back from that, but we're just using the kitchen as it is and enjoying it. Again, like I said, I make all kinds of meals in here. The kitchen really is the heart of the home, and everybody who comes to our home eventually comes through our kitchen because we feed most everybody that ever comes over. I hope that by sharing that we have done our process here in our kitchen, making it over little by little, I hope that it encourages you that it's okay to take your time to do some type of changes to a room. It doesn't have to be all at once. I know we might watch a TV show and in 30 minutes they have their entire house renovated. That's not really feasible. It took them a long time to get to that point. And just because you might watch other people, whether on YouTube or blog posts or wherever else in magazines, and it makes it seem like they had endless supplies of money. I mean, maybe they did. But if you are like me and you're working on a budget, trying to pay cash for things, and with limited time and resources, it's absolutely fine to take it step by step. So we did the same thing. We did the open shelves, the appliances at different times, and painting the cabinets. All of it, little by little, is absolutely fine. And it's actually kind of fun to get adjusted to one new thing in the kitchen and then to live with it for a little while and then see what it is that would be a priority for you to add the next time. So I want to encourage you to just go ahead and do it little by little, because there's rewards in that as well. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. But I thank you for coming by today and checking out our kitchen makeover. Be sure to stop back next week and see what I'll be sharing then. Pop quiz, what are we doing in the future to the kitchen?
We are doing whatever you're gonna say next. Countertops.
Good job! There's 2 things, countertops and...
More countertops?
No.
An island.
Maybe. Ooh. Okay. So there's 3 things now. Countertops, an island, and...
Curtains.
A sink. Good guess. Very good guess. Okay, that'll be fun to do.
Let's see. You got a sink?
No, I don't have a sink yet.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.